No.
folks.
All right, here we go.
Listen.
What?
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. For the weekend wrap-up. Here we go.
We can wrap up. I'm just enjoying Tom Brady being a pissy little bitch right now.
That's why I'm a minute late calling you. I was watching that series of downs.
Where he got upset. He was like, throwing his hands up. Oh, bitch.
This is why I like to refer to him as Cry Brady a lot of times. When things aren't going his way, he starts to really get demonstrative out there sometimes. Like a spoiled fucking 10-year-old that's
what he looks like.
That you won't fucking buy a toy when you take him to the toy store.
You know what? I'm glad. I hope they lose.
It's a mixed bag because
you're torn.
Here, I'm a Dolphins fan, so I need the Patriots to lose games because we're in the same division. And besides the fact that they're our natural rival, so I always hate the Patriots. Tampa, I didn't have an opinion on until Brady got there, and I just. It's not even that I hate. I don't like Brady. I dislike him. I truly do. I can listen. You can give him all the accolades in the world. I don't take those things away from him. I can acknowledge that he's one of the greatest quarterbacks, if not the best that ever lived. But he's also a dick. He's also enough's enough at this point. We get it. You're the best. You don't have to keep like 9 Super Bowls in 20 years. And like what, 6 or 7 wins? I don't even remember which. It's like, we get it. Enough. Go retire and let someone else have the spotlight and let another team have an opportunity. It's like, I'm just like, enough. It's just like I've just had enough of you. And like, I don't confuse the two things. Like a lot of people confuse the two things. He's not a great person, He like I love how we're starting a podcast when we trashing.
Oh, I'm not even going to say anything. I'm letting you go.
Trashing like a national treasure. But I mean, at one point in his life, he left his pregnant girlfriend to go marry Giselle.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of person are you dealing with here? I don't hear about him being Mr. Charity. I don't hear about him like, I don't know. I just don't like him, and his like, I feel like his real, like, he's got that really overly polished facade that PR people have taught him to be, and then when things don't start going his way, that's when you see the real Tom Brady, the like spoiled fucking kid, the bitch. I mean, the bitchy baby bitch, so
he is.
So, and it was never, listen, after that, what was it a reality show or what was that thing that he was like getting a massage on a table in his home?
And he kissed his kid.
And his kid's like, come here and give me a kiss. And the kid like gives him a quick peck. He's like, no, a real kiss. And he's like on the lips. And it was like a boy kid too. And the kid had to come over while Brady's sitting on like a massage table getting worked on. Like, treatment or whatever it was. Oh, it was like a luxury massage, or if it was like treatment for football. But either way, it was in his own home. He made the kid like plant a kiss on his lips for an uncomfortable, for me at least, amount of time.
It was uncomfortable. I thought so too.
And it was
uncomfortable.
And it was public. It was like filmed and then out in the world. It was like he was doing an interview, or they were doing a news piece on him, or I don't know why the cameras were there and caught that. And I don't know why Brady thought that was going to be like, I know Brady made a point of doing that while they were filming it to be like, see what a good dad I am? I love my kids so much. No, it was weird as fuck. It was awkward and weird and creepy and gross.
I love that this is how we're starting the podcast.
I could rail on Brady all day. Plus, here, I really wanted to start poking the bear on some of these. We've got a few mutual friends from the wrestling world that are New England Patriots fans.
Oh yeah.
But then they like hopped the bandwagon last year and were they were Tom Brady fans. I think Al was one too. I don't remember.
Oh yes.
They're like very fair weather, and it's like, to me,
call them all out.
To me, it was like I was like, no man, you're a Patriots fan. You should be mad your guy left you. He left you.
From Boston, no less.
Patriots didn't cut you. He left you. Right. So don't be like going and rooting for another team because now they're winning and you're losing. Right. It's like I hate that, and that's going to get me to segue into something else that I'm going to get into with the Jets. But I like how you're laughing already. But like if you're like a ride and die with your team when they're winning, don't go root for someone else when they're losing. That's right. Disgusting. And so I almost want to make a post today before the game starts. Said like I can't wait to this like a fandom check if you're a real fan or not at the end of this game, whether Patriots fans are like, well, but I'm happy that if we were to lose, it was to Tom Brady. No, motherfucker, that should rub more salt in your wound. When Jason,
right, yeah, why? Like, right.
When Jason Taylor left and went to the no good rotten Jets, our biggest fucking rival, the team that Jason Taylor shit on when he was here, no, I wasn't like happy for Jason. I wished him ill will. And so that brings me to another thing. Today, I was watching the football games, and a commercial for Uber Eats came on, and there were like two people in the commercial, and it was stomach turning enough that it was two guys in Jets jerseys watching football. Like that's bad enough that this is like Jet centric, as opposed to the other 32 better teams in the league. You choose to represent the Jets. There's actually even another New York team you could have picked that would have been way more palatable.
Right.
I don't know why you picked the Jets in their ugly green jerseys. And one of them was the super fan that the Jets have had for decades that they call Fireman Ed. And I assume his name is Ed. And I don't know if he's actually a fireman. I would never do that much research into this individual because he's a Jets fan. But he wears a fireman's hat. And in his section of seats, he would like lead JETS, Jets cheers and stuff like that. He was like the leader. And every week they would show him on TV a couple of times during the game. And so he was like an iconic, what we call super fan. They have him in wrestling too, like Tie-Dye Guy and a couple other people. So they had him on this Uber Eats commercial. And my problem wasn't that they selected the Jets, like the worst team in the league, the most disgusting fan base in the world, of all of sports maybe. There's no lower low than a Jets fan, in any sport. But it was Fireman Ed because you remember years ago, they were so bad that Fireman Ed made a public announcement as if he was actually somebody worth releasing a press release to the world. How he was going to give up his tickets and no longer he was going to root for the Jets still, but he was no longer going to be Fireman Ed. He was basically quitting on his team because they had been losing for so long. And I'm like thinking, like, listen, like they went to the Super Bowl. It was in the 60s, but at least it's been within like there's some fan base. Remember the Cubs? It was like 100 years.
Think about the Browns,
the Red Sox, all these things. Right. There's some teams that have never been to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Let alone had winning seasons under multiple, like Rex Ryan years weren't that long ago. They went to the NFC Championship game twice with with Dirty Sanchez and the foot fetish, and butt fumbles and all that stuff. So this guy quit on his team, quit publicly, not like just like quietly, like I'm not gonna go anymore. And people ask, "Where's Fireman Ed?" And you can like kayfabe it and say, "Oh, he couldn't afford tickets this year. It's been a rough year." Blah, blah. Any of that shit. Instead, he made a public thing that the world that like I shared that article. It was from like NFL.com covered it. About how Fireman Ed was walking away from the Jets, would support them from a distance, but was walking away from them. And so they choose to put him in the commercial. And I am so offended that they would reward phony, fake fandom like that. Fair weather fandom, bandwagon fandom. It's stomach turning. Listen, your team's in the fucking dumpster for the last 5 years. My team has gone through quarterback turmoil for over a decade, like a decade and a half. You had a 1-win season, didn't you? I mean, the Dolphins have had a couple of 1, 2, 3-win seasons.
Yeah, of course.
In recent history. I never stopped rooting for my team. I never said I got to find another
I'm
team.
gonna give you beat this to the fucking dead horse over here, but I'm gonna give you a little Fireman Ed facts, and we can move on. You ready? Because
Well,
want to make you
I was
more
about
angry.
to. That was basically my point. But
I know, but this piss you off even more.
Okay.
So he was an actual New York City firefighter who was injured on the job in 2007.
Okay.
During the butt fumble game in 2012 on Thanksgiving night, he quit.
Right. It was Thanksgiving. That's right.
He took off and didn't come back till 2015. He returned in 2015. So he took off quite a few years.
What coach was in 2015 for them? Was that the one before Gase, right?
Do you want to make this? Oh my God! This couldn't be any more perfect. You listen. Don't hang up. Sit down. I got to tell you this fact here about Fireman Ed. This is going to send you over the edge.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know if you're ready for this.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Fireman Ed, growing up, was a Miami Dolphins fan. This makes it even better.
What a piece of trash!
This makes it even better.
Like they're like
This makes it so much better.
Like Dolphins and Jets are like that's each of ours. It's the mutual rivalry for years and years.
I feel that's a bigger rival than the Patriots.
Yeah, like the Patriots and Dolphins or Patriots and Jets only became rivalries once the Patriots were like of interest. Before Brady, no one even cared. That team never factored for more than a year or two here or there. Same thing with the Bills. Bills always felt like the Dolphins were their number one rival, but Dolphins never felt the Bills were theirs. It was just like
right.
Bills, Dolphins always hated it, and it's because here's why it is. Because there's so much crossover. There's so many New Yorkers that come down and retire to Miami. And they're either Giants or Jets fans. So you get this Jets Dolphins thing that because it's also geographical, people are coming down, and then the Jets invade our fucking stadiums when we have a home game against Jets. They outnumber us because they live down here.
Yeah, they do.
It's it's crazy. Sure. So it's always been the biggest rivalry. There are some big rivalries amongst other teams in the league, but for the Dolphins and the Jets, it's always been Dolphins Jets. We've never said another team is our rival ever, either one of us. And if someone says it, says it wasn't. So
right.
And we have all these classic games the fake spike or that longest Monday Night Football game of all time. Dude, I remember I was at the restaurant watching that Monday Night Football game that went to overtime, super overtime, back when they would it wasn't just overtime. It was if you didn't complete it in there, it would keep going. I think I don't remember, but whatever it was, the game was super long. Maybe it was a delay or something. I don't remember why, but we were watching it till 1 a.m. at the Ale House, and I just remember because it was the Dennis Miller era of Monday Night Football
when he did the. Oh, okay.
And they had Arnold sit in the booth for a segment or two. Arnold sat in the booth for a segment or two earlier in the game, in the first half when the Dolphins were blowing the Jets out. And Arnold predicted, maybe it was even at halftime, Arnold predicted the Jets were going to come back and win that game. And fuck if he wasn't right. He predicted it. It was the most fucked up thing. So we've had a lot of memorable moments together, and so they're my rival. So when their super fan is such a phony, such a fraud who doesn't even have New York roots, he's he used to be a Dolphins fan. What happened? What did you?
Right, yeah.
I mean, you left the Dolphins when they were good in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, you're fired up.
I am. Well, this also goes to my lunatic brother who decided he was a Jets fan. I don't know where that came from, but
wow. So who do you hate more,
yeah.
Fireman Ed or the guy in front row of WWE shows? Green shirt.
See, now that's an excellent question.
I feel like that is a great question.
On Sundays, again, that's still Sundays. They're both on Sundays. I'll say Fireman Ed I see less. That fuck, that guy wears that highlighter green smiley face shirt green. Who has been front row camera side for every pay-per-view for the last 5 fucking years.
Yep.
No, that
Pretty
guy
much.
by far, because that guy looks like a loser. Like, if Fireman Ed looks like he got laid, had kids, lived a full life. This guy, this smiley face guy, I don't know him. I don't know nothing about him. He might also be married with kids, but he looks like he lives in his mom's basement. And I don't know any wife with a family that would let him do this much nonsense, going to like this many shows.
Every WWE show all over the place.
I thought for a while that he must have sued the WWE for something, and this was like the compensation, like that they were going to give him the ticket. Because how do you get those seats every single time? It's insane.
Right, I know.
I mean,
like how? It's impossible.
The only way you do it is if you own Ticketmaster, or you're literally going to the person that has those seats you like buy the cheapest seats to get in the building and go up to the person that has those seats and offer them like 5 times their money for them.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how else you score him every single time. That's why I thought he had to have won a lawsuit or something.
Mm-hmm. Literally the same seats.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he used to be there with like a couple of friends. And see, the problem is it's not so much that I see that guy. It's that the guy made himself a gimmick. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like all these super fans. See, Tie-Dye guy did it, and he was the original, and he was original in his originality. But then all these other people that once they're recognized on TV, they're like, well, I got to dress the same every time so that they recognize me again. And it's like, this isn't about you, buddy. And this guy sits like a lump. He looks like just like not even active, not even like energetic or like he wants to be. He barely looks like he wants to be there. And like for 5 years, the same shirt, the same fucking dummy hat. He used to have a camera that hung around his neck on a string, and that he would have in his limp hand that he would pick up and take pictures every now and then. I don't know if he still does it, but it wasn't that far back that he had a camera in the age of good cell phone cameras. I was like, I didn't understand any of his shtick at all, and it just mostly offended me that he dressed the same every single goddamn show. To be like, look at me here in the front row. Oh, terrible.
You done ranting? Are you done?
You asked.
You're not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
No, I'm getting it all out now. I'm gonna sleep like a baby. Whew, this is like a whole adrenaline dump here.
Jesus.
Yeah, well, I was ready to move on from Fireman Ed. You went into factoid mode, and then dragged in
because I knew you were gonna get upset about it.
And then dragged in an even worse piece of shit super fan. And again, I don't know you.
With everybody.
I don't know you. You might be a tremendous person that gives to all kinds of charitable causes and saves lives on a daily basis. But to me, you're a piece of shit for always being on TV dressed the same.
You're angry tonight.
I am.
I think the Dolphins lost caused this.
Yeah, I'm not in a good mood about the Dolphins.
As Tom Brady's driving down the field.
I'm not watching. I have to sit in a dark room and podcast. I can't watch Brady and the Patriots.
I went to the state fair tonight.
I heard.
Yeah, state fair.
I saw some pictures.
I saw what?
I saw some pictures.
Well, so a couple things happened at the state fair tonight. I haven't been to a state fair, probably since the South Florida fair, maybe when I was like a teenager. Like probably the last time, like my kids, we never went to like the
Broward County or Dade County fairs, right?
Right. No, the South Florida fair, like the big one at Wellington at the fairgrounds, like the big one was always in January. But so my daughter wanted to go with her friends, so we went. Nick the Dick didn't go, and
can we?
I'm not going to.
Can we talk about the friends for a minute?
Yeah.
Well,
we will. We'll get to that.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So. I got a couple friend stories. So, so we go, I pick up the friend. Now the friend's dad, he loves me. So that's the start. And he's opening a boba shop, boba tea or whatever. And he's opening this boba shop and he keeps asking me when, he's a little, Vietnamese guy. And he says, he literally talks like that. He goes, when I open boba shop, you come, you make pictures and, video. And
he wants the rub.
Right. So he's asking like the first time he had asked me, he went on and on and on. And I got in the car with Lex and I was like, why is this guy asking me to come to his boat? Like, and she's like, oh, he wants you to he's trying to use the clout. So he's asked me a couple more times where he was like, hey, you come boba shop, when it opens in November, and you do videos and pictures, and then you drink beer with me, and like, so he's telling me, he's inviting me to come do it, whatever, which is cool. Like, it's totally cool. I have no problem with it. Cool stuff. But look, I'm kind of a local celebrity, so
Not even local.
International.
Right.
So we get in the get in the car, whatever, and her friend, they obviously know that I TikTok, whatever, and I will say that Nick is like a total dick about it. Like, he talks shit about it. Like, anytime Nick gets mad, his go-to is, "Well, you're a 40-year-old who makes TikToks." I was like, "Yeah, I'm more popular than you fucking 16-year-old pansy," And yes, I talk to my son like that. But Lex, she kind of like is on the fence, because sometimes she'll be like, "You're embarrassing," which I'll give you an example of that in a minute. But she's also very, sometimes, like, when it's certain people, she'll be like proud, like, "Yeah, my dad has 215,000 followers." Like, she's proud of it. But today she was mixed, like, because she gets proud, and then, I may get a little big head, and I'm like, "Yeah, because I'm TikTok famous," and she's like, "Okay, that's enough, like, stop." But on Friday, we're at the football game, the high school football game, and I am waiting out. Game ends, I'm outside waiting, and kind of just waiting for the kids to come out. And Lex is sitting there with her friends, and some kid goes, "Hey, Lex's dad," and I like look over, and I was like, "What's up?" He's like, "You're TikTok famous," and Lex literally was like, "Oh my god!" She put her hand over her face, and she like turned around, and he's like, "Everybody knows you from TikTok," and like, he's going on, and she is just like bright red, embarrassed. And another girl's like, "What videos does he make?" Like, wanted to know. And yeah, no, totally embarrassed her. And me, I was like, I've got 200,000 followers. I'm like putting it over. But yeah, she didn't. She gets embarrassed. That she was embarrassed Friday, but yeah, like they all know. They all know now. That there's a kid that goes to their school that has like 600,000, and I saw him Friday, and the kids are always like, "Do not talk to him." I was like, "Why? Why can't I be like, 'Hey, fellow, influencer'?" They're like, "Don't you dare!" They won't let me talk to him. They won't even let me say hi to the kid and like tell him that I'm a star too.
God forbid you collaborated with him.
Right. I mean, McDonough's got two local stars. One's international. And they're embarrassed about it. It's like, what are you being embarrassed about? But anyway, I get to the fair, and the fair is an interesting crowd.
Honestly, that's impressive that a 16-year-old has fucking 600,000.
So he makes the mashups of music.
Oh, okay. Well,
he does. So he made a mashup that a couple million, people with Charlie D'Amelio, who's like the #1 TikToker.
Never heard of her.
She's got like 150 million followers.
Never heard of her.
Shit. Oh yeah, she's #1. She's their age though. She used his song that he created, and he blew up.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. So he, he's like the homecoming king. Like, he's the kid's like, he's the shit over there. But anyway, what was I saying? You got me thrown off.
Well, this is a perfect opportunity to rewind for a second to the football game.
Okay. Look, I want to talk about this quick because I really want to get to the fair. I know where you're going with this. At the football game.
At the football game, you sent us messages going, "Oh my God, my squatter is here. The woman that wouldn't leave your house after you to your whatever move-in relationship after 3 weeks, or I don't remember how long you were seeing her and how long she was living in your house, but there were definitely 3 weeks of this relationship where you weren't in the relationship anymore, and she refused to leave your house. So we call her the squatter. And apparently, all of a sudden, she sat down a few rows down from you at the football game.
3 rows. So, it was right before halftime. So, I had been up there sitting with Nick's teacher shooting the shit, and I saw her coming up, but it was a big crowd, so I was kind of like, I thought I was blended in maybe. But
have you seen yourself? Have you seen yourself?
Yeah, I didn't blend in, right? You're right. I had like my head down though, because I started coming. I was like, I started coming from a distance. I was like, oh, she's coming up this way, and all I kept thinking is this: okay, like she couldn't have seen me like from when she had entered the stairs because I was all the way up towards the top, and I'm like, and I'm kind of like peeking. I have my head down, but I'm kind of like looking up, like I'm acting like I'm on my phone. And she's getting closer and closer. And all I kept saying is, "Oh my God, please don't come down this road. Please don't come down this road." Because like there was like space next to me, and she stopped 3 rows in front of me, to the right of me, and sat down. Now I don't know if she saw me because she didn't. When I could look up, she never looked up. She was looking back, kind of like at the field. Uh,
I feel
I
like
think she was gauging where to sit.
I feel
But
like
she only sat there for halftime and then she left.
I feel like the two of you were looking at. You each had claimed half the field that you were going to look at, and you weren't going to look at the other half because you might have had to look at each other.
Right.
Yeah, it's so funny that you kind of were like you were just like I don't know, like like scared of her. Or you didn't want to like see, like fuck it, like so you make eye contact with her. It's not like you're gonna say hi. You're gonna be like, yeah.
No.
I love that they go. Her kids and your kids go to the same school together.
They do. Right. Right.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I don't know. Anyway.
Okay. So
now, okay.
I was just like,
okay,
we weren't gonna cover a football game without bringing that up. Since if anyone wants to hear that episode where you talk about the stalker in more depth.
Well, anyway,
I don't know what episode.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on.
No. We're not covering them. I'm just making sure people know that they can listen to what happened. We told that story on the podcast.
We did. Yes. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, tonight I went to the fair. So a couple interesting things from the fair. Fair people are obviously they're interesting.
Well, hold on, but transition. You were still talking about the kids.
Right.
Didn't your daughter lay down the rule at the fair that you were to not talk to any of her friends?
Right. Like because the rule, like the one that was in the car with us, she knows because the dad knows whatever that he knows I'm TikTok international superstar, and she's like, yeah, you can't talk, you can't bring it up. If anybody asks you, like, I have to like basically just be like, I don't know what you're talking about. Very, very, yeah, like, that's what I said. Sometimes she owns it, but sometimes she's totally embarrassed about it. So we get to the fair and they kind of run off and do their own thing. So now I'm like, I'm not going to ride rides. I'm, whatever. I'm not going to ride rides. So I figured I'd get some walking in because, I got a big match coming up November 7th. I could get a little cardio in, a couple steps,
What time did the fair open? On Sunday? It's like what, 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock?
It opened at 10 o'clock this morning, but it closes at 10 o'clock tonight. It's because it's only open for 2 weeks, and then it shuts down.
Yeah. But I was just curious because you said a lot of things were there but weren't happening. So I was wondering, if you went late or not, But 5 o'clock in the afternoon doesn't seem that late.
No, but I'll tell you, I caught a couple things here. So I get there and I start my walk, and the first thing that again, I haven't been to a fair. The people, like fair people, are weird, and fair people are wrestling people, right? Like they're the same people. Like people that go to fairs are people that also go to wrestling shows. There's a lot of strange carny because wrestling, for those that don't know, started at carnivals and fairs. It was a very carny thing, wrestling, right? Like that's just what it was. It was a carnival act.
In theory, there's definitely crossover in the audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So of course, I get there and I kind of just want to survey the land, and I see there's strange people everywhere. So which I love because I love people watching, and I'm sure they're looking at me going, this guy's strange as well, because I'm wearing a Union Jack tank top, first of all, which we'll get to that in a second. I'm wearing the British flag as my tank top. I got a fanny pack on, I got basketball shorts, and I got, my man butt. I mean, I'm definitely, they're looking at me going, look at this fucking weirdo walking around by himself. But the first thing I see is all the food. The food at the fair. I am on a diet. I have to be strict. There couldn't just be one funnel cake place. They literally had every 3 food places was a funnel cake place. It was like it was. I think there's spread out.
There's a rule at carnivals or fairs that funnel cake booths have to be placed within smelling distance of each other. So at no time are you not smelling funnel cake while you're at the fair?
Right. And
You know.
let me tell you something. That was not easy. That was not easy because the smell of the funnel cakes just permeates through the fair.
Yeah, but what did I tell you?
It just what?
I told you
told me
you had a
you-
rare Giants win today. You might as well celebrate.
No, I know what you're doing though. I know what your game is.
Yeah, it is. It is my game.
You're trying to get me killed by Billy Fives.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I know that. I know that very well. But yeah, so I did not get a funnel cake. And I know you probably thought I would be coming into the podcast today going, hey, I had one, but I didn't.
I didn't.
stayed strong.
No, but I thought, I felt like you could have had some foods there. There was probably some stuff that would have fell under the parameters of like our keto diet if you were actually on a keto diet. But I watched your TikToks today, and there was a lot of candy eating today.
I'm allowed one piece of candy, okay?
Well, if that's all you had, that would
For the brand.
Right. If that's all you had, maybe. But yeah, sure. Okay.
So anyway, I do the couple laps, and it was to the point where even the pizza looked good there. Like I was like, why does the pizza look good at a carnival? And all these people are eating hot dogs and sausage and peppers and funnel cakes everywhere and elephant ears and all that shit.
Corn dogs and
oh no, forget the corn dogs.
The bacon
bacon
cheeseburgers between the donuts, all that fair food.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
Fried Oreos,
yeah.
Fried Twinkies, and they had Mexican corn. You ever had Mexican corn?
No.
Oh,
I've seen it. I've seen it, but elote?
Out of this world.
What is it called? Elote or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Out of this world. So I stayed strong though. I stayed strong. I didn't eat anything. I just kept walking. I did quite a bit of miles. I was there for 2.5 hours. So I got my walking, but a couple interesting things though, besides the food. So I'm 40 years old. I don't know why at 40 years old I still pop. It excites me when I see animals. And they had a petting zoo. And I spent like 45 minutes just walking around the petting zoo, looking at the goats and the giraffe. They had a zebra. Why do animals pop you? They probably don't. You're a miserable fuck. They don't pop you. There's no way they do.
There's two types of animals that get me interested. Well, three, to be honest.
Okay.
First and foremost, a monkey every single minute of every single day.
Okay. We'll get to the monkey in a minute. Go
every
ahead.
single minute of every single day. 2, dogs are wonderful. And then 3...
I got a dog story, okay.
And then 3, I always like to ask the camels if they know Vanilla Ice.
Oh,
because we saw live camels when we went to go see Vanilla Ice.
We did at Vanilla Ice concert, the worst concert ever.
Worst
right.
and best.
Right, it was.
Did you? I mean, can you name a concert that you had more fun at?
Right, and it was very intimate because there was only like a few of us there.
Yeah, I mean, it was like like 1,000, like a couple hundred people in the room, or maybe 1,000, not 1,000 even.
No, there was not even 1,000. No way.
But it was like a club. It was off the hookah or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was off the hookah. Yeah. Right. Anniversary show. Yeah. But so they had camels.
And for some reason, they had live camels outside.
Right, and they had camels at the fair tonight. They had camels, and they had camels, the giraffe. They had a giraffe. Like, who brings a giraffe to a carnival? I've never seen that before. A zebra. They had the goats and the llamas. The llamas were so pissed. I was waiting for one to spit so I could film it. But yeah, so I spent a little time just petting the animals. You could pet them, touch them. Fucking goats they just want to eat everything.
I love that you're the creepy guy without any kids
by himself, right?
In the petting zoo.
I know. So weird, right? So I thought that too. But then the two most interesting things I've never seen either of these in my life, so it was the first time for me for both, and I totally nerded out to it. First, they had monkey races, and I was like, monkey races? I've got to see this. So the show started at 5:45. I waited. I got there early because I wanted a good spot for the monkey race.
Do you have video of this? I need to see this.
I have it on my TikTok. I haven't posted it,
Okay,
but I
I'm
did
dying
take
to
some
see
video.
this.
So I'm like, okay, this is cool. And the guy comes out and he's like, all right, and they make it like it's real, like it's it's like the National Monkey Association of racing, and this is a qualifying event, and and the guy does a whole spiel. And it's great, they got music, and then all of a sudden they're like, and Mark, get set, go, and all of a sudden, two dogs run out of the chute with fucking live little monkeys on their back.
Are they wearing saddles?
And yes, and they're
I
wearing
love
little
this.
top hats and little like jockey outfits.
I love this.
And they have to do a race around. Well, the first dog takes off, and he just goes. The other one stops, but he stops to the point where he kind of like stops at the railing, and the monkey lets go of the reins because I think the monkey in his head, what I think he was thinking, that he was going to fall because they were going towards like the barrier. And when the dog stopped at the barrier, the monkey put his hands out on the barrier to like stop himself because he thought he was gonna go over. The monkey was smart. And then finally the other dog finishes, and then this dog turns around and goes backwards. And the guy's like, no, you gotta go the other way. And like everybody's laughing, whatever. And the monkey is in a little jockey outfit, like a little jockey. Like he's in like a hat on and everything. Like it was a horse race, like, and he was the jockey. So
I've seen videos of at rodeos where you'll have the monkey on like a goat or a dog, but the monkey's dressed like a cowboy.
Right, that's funny. That's funny
it's
shit.
Fantastic.
So like the race ends and everybody claps, blah blah blah. So I was like, all right, cool. So I left. It was over. I went and took another lap, but when I came back around that way, this fucking monkey that won the race, he's like, I guess, super over. Like the other monkey that lost, he's not over. Like his name's not on the marquee. Like only the one monkey, his name's up there. He's like, super champion racer. The other monkey's a jobber. Like he's literally, his job is just to lose.
It's like
that's his job.
It's like the generals and the
right
and the what is it? The Globetrotters. Yeah.
Right, but here's the thing: when I came back around, the winning monkey is in a special little tent thing where you could pay to take a picture with him.
No shit.
Right? And this little motherfucker is on like a throne, like, and he's like, people are in line.
I'm so annoyed. I would have paid. I would have paid for you to get a picture. Oh my God.
They only take cash. Who takes just cash?
Carnies that don't want to pay taxes.
No. This fucking monkey needs to get a cash app or something. Like, this monkey could be making a fortune right now.
Who goes to the fair doesn't bring cash?
No, who brings cash? It's fucking 2021.
Right, and who wants to pay taxes? This monkey doesn't want to have to pay taxes. He probably can't even write.
This monkey's skating the IRS. That's what he's doing.
The monkey can't read or write. You want him to fucking file taxes? Get out of here.
But he's like, there was a line of people going to take pictures with this fucking monkey, and he's like hamming it up.
I would have ran to an ATM. Yeah. I would have fucking done whatever I could to take a picture with that monkey.
This monkey was like, he was like this. So I like, the guy is announcing, like, kind of as the monkey's taking pictures with, with this, there's like a woman handler in there, and they're like, he's like, throwing out the monkey's like social media, like, you can catch us on Facebook and the website, and he's available for parties. I was like, this fucking monkey's working the system. And he's from Greenville. He's from Greenville, South Carolina. The guy announced it. Like, his home is Greenville, but he's willing to travel. He's just like a wrestler, like this guy. He's working towns, this kid. This monkey's just,
no, you don't understand. I'm like I'm getting ideas. Like, I think we need to buy a little bit of property out here.
Fucking monkey.
One of these abandoned lots on Davie Road and build a building that has monkey races.
Like a monkey farm?
Or either monkey races, like we have a track as well, or we have like a giant bar, like a 2-story bar, and in the middle of the bar is like a smaller size ring, and we have monkey wrestling.
Oh yeah.
And they come out, and it could be the same. We could be just 2 monkeys, but because we dress them up in different outfits, they just keep coming out and having new matches to new music and stuff.
Yeah, we'd probably have like PETA at the place.
We'll get Blake to call them. do live
Oh
commentary
my
and
God,
announcing.
Blake doing live commentary. First of all, what a rib on Blake that is. He's got to call
Not
monkey
only
matches.
not only would Blake do the ring announcing and commentary, but I would make him dress like the man in the yellow hat from Curious George.
From George, Curious George. Oh, yeah.
Ugh.
So wait, it gets better. So, all right, cool. The monkey. Well, I see next to the monkey is pig races,
Oh my
but it
God.
looks closed. It looks shut down. I think I had told you that. But when I walked back on my next lap around, they're like, pig race is starting in 1 minute. I was like, oh my God,
Perfect timing.
perfect timing.
Right.
Right. So I get over there and I'm ready. I'm watching. I'm ready for it. And the lady comes out and she's like, the first race is an obstacle race, and there's like an obstacle course, and I'm literally looking, going, there's no way fucking pigs know how to get through this. There's no way they know how to get through this obstacle course. Like, this is going to be a shit show. Sure enough, the pigs come out. They announce them, right? They announce them like they're wrestlers,
Yeah.
and they come out and it's funny because I don't even remember the second pig's name, because the first pig, I couldn't stop laughing. They're like, weighing in at 50, whatever, 60 pounds. Barbie Q, that's her name, Barbie Q. And I I lost it. I was like, literally, like, and I'm like looking around at people next to me, and they're like, it's not funny. And I was like, her name's barbecue. Like, this is brilliant.
They didn't appreciate the gallows humor of it. No.
They didn't. No. So I'm like, all right. So they go, you're marking, set, go, and then they go. And these two fat little pigs, they weren't even little. They were pretty big. They took off through the obstacle course, and they both finished it. And Barbie Q won. She won the championship. And yeah, she won the obstacle race. I mean, she went through the whole thing. She jumped through something. She went. I couldn't even believe this. Like, it was crazy that this was like a real thing. And yeah, she won. Barbie Q won the race, and the fucking place exploded. Everybody was like, oh, and I never seen either of those before in my life, ever.
It's
I've
phenomenal.
never seen either of those done. Yeah.
That's worth the price of admission alone.
Oh, I only paid $10 to get in. I think I got my money's worth.
You really did. Although you should have got a picture of the monkey. That's going to be like a life's regret.
I mean, I can go back. The fair is on until next week.
I would spend $10 admission again just to go get a picture of the monkey.
Just to get a picture of the monkey.
I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend Tony that I used to work for in West Palm Beach had 2 pigs. We used to go to his house.
No.
And he had 2 pigs and a big Staffordshire Terrier, which is kind of like a pit bull, but like sweet, like just doesn't look as scary. And they were all about the same size, and they just all either hung out outside in the backyard or were on the couches and sleeping on the. I mean, they were just house pets. It was ridiculous, and they weren't like you said. They weren't small pigs. They were big. They were like bacon size, like they weren't those mini ones. Yeah, but they were a little spoiled and weird, but
yeah. Well, so then the third best thing I seen was I sent a picture to you guys. I had to go to the bathroom, I had to pee, and they had porta potties, and I go to open the first porta potty I go to open, and there's a freaking piece of shit. Someone took a shit, and it was a decent size. Like, someone just took a shit right on the floor where you would step, you could step in to pee. There was just a fucking Lincoln log.
Yeah, it was a log. Like that looks solid enough that someone might have shit their pants and shook it down their leg, kind of.
Right, and you had said maybe it was a baby. I think you had said when I
said maybe it rolled out of a diaper.
No, but I'm thinking about it now. That was a man-sized log. That was not a baby log. That was like some man shit on the floor.
That was an adult circumference, is what you're saying.
Right, like I don't even understand how you can go into the porta potty and shit on the floor.
Like if a baby shit that big of a shit, you call child services on the parents.
Like this thing was it was a man-sized shit.
Yeah,
I just could not believe that someone would just shit on the floor. I mean, I was in such disbelief. I closed the door. I went in the other one. I peed. I came back out, and I opened the door to take a picture because I felt like this was going to be podcast material, and I didn't think you'd believe me. So
I'd believe
I
you.
had to have proof
Yeah,
of it.
yeah, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
Who
So,
would
but
who would make that up and think it's like good enough to make up? You know, it's like
right.
you know what I mean.
And then so then I did a couple more laps, and then it started storming, and we got stuck in the. It was pouring, and we ran into the little zoo tent again. So we spent another 25 minutes in the petting zoo tent while it poured rain because it was covered. And I'm thinking all these idiots are running around like trying to find cover, and I'm like, why would you not just come to the zoo? Like it was covered completely. It was a huge tent. So I sat in there, I just, fuck with the goats a little bit, you know, uh, they just, they're funny, but yeah, the fair was interesting. But here is the last thing I want to tell you about the fair. Earlier, I said I was wearing my Union Jack, the British flag tank top I have.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming a problem when I wear this. You want to know why?
Why?
Because people come up to me and say, "Are you from the UK?" Like they think I'm from there.
Just because
right?
you have a Union Jack shirt?
Right.
Because what God-fearing American would red-blooded American would wear another country's flag on their body?
In South Georgia.
Right. You're lucky
right?
they don't mistake that for the rebel flag.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's pretty blue.
Yeah.
But anyway, and it's funny because today it happened where people just like give you the nod at the fair, or they're like, "Oh, nice shirt," and I'm like, "Oh God," everybody thinks. But today, something happened with a person. This was the strangest thing. I was in the supermarket in Publix, and I'm like, there's a lady in front of me with a baby, and she's wearing a New York Yankee hat, and she kind of like turns around, but like I'm stuck kind of in the aisle. Like I'm like I don't like I couldn't blow past her, but her back was to me, and I was like, "Oh, excuse me." And she turns around, but she sees the Union Jack shirt I got on. What do you think she was? She was fucking British.
Oh yeah.
And she turns around and in her British accent, she's like, "Oh, nice shirt, mate." I'm like, "Oh fuck." She's like, "You're from the UK," and then like
you sounded Australian there.
Well, whatever, yeah. So she's like, She asked me if I was like, you from there, and then of course here I am. I'm like, no, like I go no, I go this is and the funny thing is we were standing in front of the British section because I was looking for something to see what they had. I wasn't really looking for anything. I was just looking to see what they had, and she was standing there, and so now we're both in the British section, and then like, what do you say at that point? You gotta let them know. I was like, well, actually, no. Like I make TikToks and I try British food, and now I'm trying to explain it, but it's coming out like, to her it probably sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher, because I was just like, I was literally stumbling over my words. I was like, well, like I make TikToks eating British food, and I'm just looking, but yeah, I bought the shirt, and she literally just looked at me. She's like, "Oh, okay," and just turned around and kept walking. Like I think I pissed her off. Like I think I upset her.
I think she thought you were retarded.
Well, I think at first she thought, "Oh, another British person." We're right. Like when you see somebody like you're driving and you're like, you're driving and you're like, your Ford Escape, and you see another Ford Escape, you give them like the wave or the Jeep wave or whatever. But no, she was just like, "What?" And she literally just turned around and kept walking. But as she's walking, the little baby like kind of peeked over and looked at me, and the baby gave me like the most like shitty look ever. He just kind of like peeked around his mom and looked at me, and I was like, "Fucking little baby." And he just looked at me and he like went back to like he literally was disgusted with me too, this baby.
He judged you like you were Fireman Ed.
100%. I was their Fireman Ed.
Yeah.
So the shirt though, everybody
everyone just assumes.
I got to be careful out there.
Yeah. Well, I guess it makes sense. It's not like a lot of British people wearing American flags on their bodies either. So
right.
I
mean, she was wearing the New York Yankees hat.
That's true. But like it's okay to like baseball. They don't have their own baseball teams over there. That seems more allowable than like this.
Oh, don't defend the British lady.
Like me wearing a fucking like Israeli shirt or something. It's like, or a Canadian, with me wearing a shirt with the Canadian flag on it. Like what? Like why? Like why? You know, I assume people would assume I'm Canadian at that point. I also heard there was a wrestling ring at that. Was there wrestling at this thing? At the fair?
So when I got there, they were taking the ring down. I
Oh,
missed
that
it.
sucks. So there must have been wrestling that day. It's so funny you didn't know there was
Right.
wrestling at the show. Like you could have, you could have maybe like
No,
arranged
but
to at least take a few backdrops or something in there to
well, no, no.
knock
So
some
so
rust off.
here's the deal, though. I didn't tell you this part. So after I saw the wrestling, I sent you guys the picture of them taking the ring down. I called Josh Powers, uh, former friend of the Breakfast Club. I don't know what his deal is,
Former,
but
he's not our friend anymore.
oh, he is. I talked to him today. So anyway, I called him and I said, "Hey, what is the deal here with the wrestling?" And he told me who it was. Well, the guy running it is a piece of shit. Like nobody's gonna listen to it, and I don't even care if they did. So he says that guy, this is shitty. So TK and Josh, they run Pro Wrestling Turbo. Twice now they've booked the venue, ran a show, and this motherfucker came to the venue and stole the venue from him. He's done it twice now, both venues. And I'm like, what? I was like, why do you let him? He goes, no, we let him. He has more money than us. And he told me who the guy was. I go, oh, the last show that me and Fat Shitso Fuckazzo over there worked together was for that guy here in Georgia. That's the show where Frankie wouldn't do anything because he's a fat lump. And
Is that where you're like in the horse stalls and stuff like that?
No, that was in Florida. This one was no, wait, it was in the horse stalls. You're right.
Okay.
It was. Yes, it was. And I think it was. Yeah, yeah. And so anyway, that's the show that, like, the whole show is, the guy must have spent a fortune, like, because Hassan was on the show. This is before Hassan went back to WWE. He was on the show, Johnny Swinger, like Buff Bagwell. Like, I mean, the guy had all these names, and he drew nobody. There was nobody fucking there. But Josh was like, yeah, this guy has money, and he's a fucking mark, and he takes our buildings. And I'm like, why don't you blast him? He's like, well, and Josh is such a baby. And, he's like, oh, I don't know. I was like, well, fuck, I'll blast him.
Josh should blacken his eye. I mean, fuck it,
Right. So, yeah, fuck that guy. So I'm like, why do you allow somebody to bully you like that? Anyway, we get into talking. I said, when's your next show? And Josh says, this is the good bit. I don't know if it's good news, but Josh said it's October 29th. And I said, I don't know if I can make that, but what do you guys got going for the New Year? He's like, well, we're running the brewery, whatever. We're pretty steady with them. And he's like, why? You want to come back? And I was like, I mean, it all depends what happens November 7th. He's like, what are you doing November 7th? I was like, wrestling Billy 5. He's like, yeah, you're not coming back. I was like, why? He's like, he's gonna kill you. And I said, well, I know. He's like, no, like, this is gonna be ugly. Like, you're in no shape to be doing this. I was like, no, I started training this week. I really haven't.
This week.
Yeah. So he was like, well, the door's open for me to go to Turbo, which I don't mind because it's close to the house. I get to hang out with all my people there. I love going to Greenville. And so I was like, yeah. So there may be some things in the works for that. So
No, that's good.
I'm just saying. There was an idea thrown around that I think you had kind of mentioned this. It may have been today or the other day. Remember we were talking about it. You said you made a mention about something with Josh. Do you remember? You don't remember?
No.
CTE? You said it would be good that if, like, maybe we tagged one time again, like the
Oh, yeah,
breakfast.
yeah.
You made a comment of that, right? So Josh said, well, he's been doing these like hardcore matches, and I was like, well, I'm not doing that. And he's like, maybe you be my surprise partner one time. I go, oh, I could do that. Like, I could beat other people up, like,
right.
So we discussed that maybe. Yeah,
if there's a hardcore match,
time.
You're the new Jack in it.
Well, so his whole matches are based over. He plays the music. He does the whole New Jack thing.
Oh, does he?
So I said, oh, I could totally do that. Like, So it looks like see how it goes here. But there may be There may be a little return to Pro Wrestling Turbo in South Carolina
Oh, look at
coming
that.
up. I don't
In the
know.
new year. In the new year, in 2022.
New Year.
I also saw we had I saw a post that didn't have a lot of information on it, but it was a little more concrete, sealing the deal on the 7th. That
I haven't seen that.
the Facebook post. You haven't seen that?
Oh no, I didn't see that. No.
Yeah, it's like an official charity show at the
Nobody invited me.
CCW Arena or something like that. It wasn't like an event page or anything. I'll send it to you later. But it didn't have it didn't have a card on it, that's for sure. So I didn't share it or anything because it didn't even have you and Billy listed on it. But I think Billy shared it and liked it and all that stuff. Yeah.
Huh.
So we'll probably talk about that on the next show. Maybe we'll have Billy on the talk. We'll get an official update from you and Billy and
Nah, we don't need
get the show. Well, we need to start.
We don't need him.
Yeah, we do because we need to start promoting it anyways. All right. Well,
what is he gonna do? Come on, let's be real.
don't listen. Don't avoid your destiny here. It's only gonna make it worse.
Yeah. All right, I don't know. That's all I got. You ruined it. You ruined it with the.
Why did I ruin it? It's one of our upcoming events. Like you're going to be wrestling. We gotta address the situation. We gotta promote it. We gotta talk about it. We gotta talk to Billy. All that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know. Anyway, I'm starting to get the bubble guts here. So I think.
Yeah, me too, actually.
And I didn't even go to the fair and smell fucking fair food all day to make me queasy like this. But I think I need to go. I need to go address my my weekend's meals that have finally.
All right, you do what you gotta do.
Decided to work their way out, and maybe we'll watch the rest of this Tom Brady debacle.
It's actually making me angry. I don't even want to watch
This
it.
Patriots nonsense.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye.
Okay. Bye.